and I am your host. And we will be talking about understanding yourself. Those of us those who joined us last on Wednesday got to meet with Sloan Reed, and we learned a whole lot more about ourselves as well as others. And I really wanted to continue talking about that. I know a lot of us are asked who are you? Like, who are you? What do you bring to the table? What are your strengths? Those are things that we're asked all the time. So I want to challenge you to be a little bit more vulnerable and look at those things that are a little beyond just who are you. Things like, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? If you weren't afraid, what would you be doing? If What does your inner critic tell you? What are you ashamed of? What are those questions? What do those type of questions get you thinking? Hi, Susan.
Hello, Kate. How are you?
Good. It may just be you and I because my husband is eating.
He's doing what?
He's
He's
eating.
logged. He's logged in.
He is.
Or did you have to?
He's eating.
Oh,
They were out all day filming, making videos. So I've asked some questions. So if you weren't afraid, what would you be doing? If you weren't afraid.
if I wasn't afraid, I might be something like I might be one of them paratroopers. But my motto is, "What the hell are you going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane for?" I
Is that something that interests you?
don't know.
If you weren't afraid?
Well, I don't. It's just it's always been a fear of doing something like that. So I don't know if it really interests me, but
okay. So if you weren't afraid, you could be jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
maybe so, or go to something like Sky Charlotte or whatever they do, Sky Atlanta, whatever they do, and jump on an airplane there or a parachute, whatever they do. I don't know.
Okay. Hi Lisa.
Hello.
I mean, I got to adjust my hot flash fan.
So I just asked the question, Lisa. Maybe you're ready to ask.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Ask me.
If you weren't
Hey, Lisa.
afraid, what would you be doing?
If I was a what?
If you weren't afraid, what would you be doing?
Oh. So I'd be in the real estate business and make shit tons of money and owning multi-family properties. How's that?
Okay, so what part of it are you afraid of?
I'm not sure if it's fear or if it's that my mind hasn't come around to the fact that thinking it's actually possible.
So your fear of not succeeding.
Okay.
That, my dear, is fear.
Okay, I'll go with that.
I mean, I have that same fear because I wanted to get into REI too, but it hasn't worked my way. So,
why is that?
Maybe because part of my fault too, just because I haven't taken all the action I should, but still,
So what is the fear in that?
I think I'm like Lisa, just fearing that it really can happen. Can that really happen to me? And just, I don't know. Okay. I just think that little nugget of success to fire, to light that spark and start that spontaneous combustion.
Okay. So this leads me to
Jonathan, eat in a hurry.
I know that some of the fears that are holding me back are myself. I know that my fear of failure, my fear of rejection, it's something that holds me back in a lot of things I do. Because it's much easier to stay in that comfort zone. It's much easier to stay where we know our strengths are and they've been tested and proven that you're good in that area,
But then you don't grow. But then you don't grow.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've talked about it before. We should rely on our strengths and use them to our advantages and make sure our goals are aligned with them, the short term and the long term. But the problem is our strengths can look different in different situations. And so sometimes we're not willing to embrace that. We're not willing to see how I can use that, my strength, in a different situation. Because Lisa has strength in many of her other endeavors. Those are the same strengths she would use in real estate.
Yes, they are.
So you have to think of it as what am I afraid of? What is my inner critic telling me about this situation? So on in general, or you can be very specific, because we are talking right now about specific things with both of you. But what is your inner critic tell you?
Can I jump in here real quick since I was stuffing my mouth? I didn't answer the first question. If I was not afraid, what would I be doing? It. Now, I know that's a very basic question. It doesn't really answer too much unless you're inside the crazy head of Jonathan.
You
What
said
is
it.
It. IT.
Okay.
It is anything I choose. Now, here's the thing. I'm one of those types that when I get my mind set to something, I don't stop until I achieve it. All three of y'all know me well enough to know that to be the case. What is the fear? Fear of success. And as crazy as that sounds, it took me so long to understand and realize what that was. Yet, when you get to the point of where you build something up and then you sabotage it, there's a portion of that that's fear of success. It's grown too big, it's gotten too good, it's, whatever the case may be. So let me put a damper on it. Same thing here. The thing is, the humorous thing to me about this call so far has been that both of you ladies have said real estate. Now, Lisa knows a little bit more behind the scenes. Susan, you may or may not be aware of this. I know we've chatted a little bit about my past and my current with real estate.
Uh-huh.
The crazy thing is I have two mentors that I can only take a speculated guess at their net worths. One of them is approaching, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures, if he's not there already. And the other one is approaching 8 figures, if he's not there already. Both of them are here. I could call both of them right now. Neither one of them would probably answer, but they would return my phone call. They will respond back to me. I have a relationship with both of them. So here's the thing. I am in a position where I have people that are tested and true, and they know this stuff inside and out. They can spit real estate to somebody like I can pressure washing. So why am I still challenged to jump in there to do some of it? It's the fear of success, because here's the thing. I know that with my previous experience in real estate as it is, already having invested, I've earned a lot of money in real estate. I've also lost a lot of money in real estate. And the experiences that I have, and then the mentors that I have, there is really no stopping me. I already have a team. We have just now gotten everything set up for the new business, the bank accounts, all the filings with the government, all that kind of stuff that you got to do. It took longer than what I expected it to, yet it's done. And we have a team of people behind us already. I have 4 people that are pushing me. Hey, when are we going to start? When are we making calls? When are we doing this? When are we doing this? We haven't even started the company yet. I mean, we have. But there's already people pushing in and saying, hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. So that's what it is. Fear of success. When you haven't been used to it, when you don't know about it. I mean, I have been used to it. I guess I said that in the wrong sense because I have been very successful with my businesses. Yet where I know for a fact that I am going in business, where I know that I'm going to end up, and when I say end up, I'm talking, Jesus, you give me until this time next year. It's like, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun for everybody involved. So
will you put the little peons on the totem pole like me and Lisa? I'm going to call us peons together. Will you let us join your team?
Please don't include me in that. I'm not a peon. I've evolved way past that. Please don't say that
in
about
the
me.
most loving way.
Yeah, I'm still not. Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good, Lisa. Susan, we've had the conversation about your subconscious mind believes what you tell it over and over and over again. Something that simple. She was very wise in calling you out on that.
Okay. I appreciate that. I do.
Kate, back to you. I wasn't trying to steal your show. Go ahead, my love.
Some of the things that we get lost in is we can experience loss of our identity. And there are 4 things that lead to this, typically. We either put the needs of others well above ours, and we forget what our needs are. We get disconnected from our thoughts and feelings and really have this loss of path because we're not where our thoughts and feelings are. We experience either a transition or change, which happens, at different times in our life, or we feel unworthy or ashamed. And those are times where we can lose our identity. And I bring this up because it can affect our paths.
Before you go, I'm sorry. What was the third one?
The third one is experience transition or change.
Okay. Thank you.
So those are the 4 things that lead to loss of identity or experiencing loss of identity, because we don't truly lose our identity. There are times where we want to or need to change course or path or things like that. And I bring this up because a lot of times we start self-sabotaging ourselves. We do behaviors, our inner critic changes during these times, and we allow that to lead our path versus learning how to get back on track. Loss of identity can be something very small, or it can be something very big. Knowing how to identify it and know that it's not a crisis, it's just time to evaluate. Mm-hmm. Because there are times where we need to make a change. We need to, as much as I loved coming out of the classroom, that was my decision. It is something I thought about for many years before I made that decision. I still, here I am almost a year and a half later, and I struggle with my identity at times due to that change. Because of what I made a huge leap, and I am very proud of myself, and I stick to what I chose to do because it was what was best for me. It was what was best for my family, everything. But it was a huge part of who I was. So even now, there's times where I feel a loss of identity because of that change. Even though I made the change, I made the choice and I made the change. But I need to know, and I can look back and say that that is part of where I get that inner critic will come in and start to beat me down. Why'd you do that? Why'd you leave the classroom? You could be in the classroom. That's part of who you were. But that's not what's best for me. Mentally, my mental health inside the classroom was not good. It had gotten to a point where it wasn't a healthy place for me to be just because of all the outside things that they were putting on top of us. You know, they continue to put more on our plate and take nothing off. And then we weren't able to really teach. And that's why I wanted to be in the classroom, is to teach and help kids. And when I'm not mentally healthy, how am I supposed to help students? So even though I know that my choices were the right thing, my inner critic can beat me down and can cause me to feel like I have a loss of identity. Even though I found a new identity or pieces of my identity, because I didn't really leave something completely. I didn't just leave the classroom. I didn't just leave education and just do something completely different. I'm just in a place where I can make decisions and work with curriculum the way I want it to and how I feel it's going to most impact kids, including my own children. So I just want to bring that up because I know that there are times, and I know a lot of us are in an area of growth right now. All of us on this call and many people who are listening are in an area of growth. There's a lot of growth going on in our community, and it's amazing, but it's also scary because it pushes us outside of our comfort zone. And I just want to make sure that we're challenging each other to use our strengths in new situations. Because Lisa, you have every strength you need to walk in and do that real estate. You do.
You know, it's a great conversation because the first two things that you said, number 1 and 2, really resonated with me. And then also, and I'd been struggling with this and I finally came to terms with it about the nursing thing. I'm really good at it. And it satisfies a need. It satisfies, you know, to feeling accomplished and being able to do something that most other nurses can't do here. I can't tell you how many times a shift that the patients tell me, "Oh my God, you're the best nurse here." And it's so nice to hear, you know, and I know I'm one of the best nurses there, if not the best nurse here, because I go above and beyond. I make sure my patients are taken care of, and I get them what they need most of the time, you know. I'm human. I'm human. I mean, I've been called lots of names too, you know, in the same breath. And it's, you know, because, you know, there's always something like that. And I couldn't figure it out. And then a couple of months ago, and I realized that was part of what was holding me back. And then I realized it's okay to let this go because I'll find something else that'll fulfill me like this fulfills me. And I had to come to that realization and know that that's actually true. And it is true because I've done this many times before and I always find my way. And I always find the way into it because I am good at this stuff. And I think about things other people don't think of. And they'll come to me and I'll know the answers. And they'll be like, "Wow, how do you know that?" I just like to acquire information and I like to know how things work. And I like to get to the bottom of it. And why does this do this? And why does this do that? And you know, even the doctors, they come, they want to know how to do something in the place. They don't go to the house supervisor. They come to me and they say, "How do you get this done?" I'm like, so it's, and the thing about, I wasn't allowed to feel my feelings as a child. And the other one, what was the first one? I wasn't allowed to take care of my own needs. I was supposed to serve everybody else first. And I was taught that. I was actually taught that. And so, you know, overcoming that was something as well. And, you know, it's a process and I'm growing and evolving. I get better every day. And, you know, this is why I'm here. It's why I'm part of this group. I'm growing and evolving with you guys. And it's awesome. And we get to talk about it. And not only am I helping myself, I'm helping somebody else who's listening and say, "Oh yeah, I can resonate with that."
That's right.
So I have a couple other questions for y'all that I really want y'all to think about because I think that these are going to help us in this spot of growth that we're all in. What matters most to you in life?
Family.
Yeah, family.
Family.
Anything else?
Well, friends too, family, friends.
So you're
And
asking what matters, not just what matters most, just what matters as a
what
whole.
matters to you?
Success.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
I like to be appreciated.
feeling of accomplishment.
Yep.
What about you,
Travel.
Susan?
I like to feel appreciated. I like to feel like I was succeeded or like I've helped somebody.
I definitely can see that. Now, here's the question. Who are the people that support you in that?
The three of you right here support me in this. Absolutely.
I'm ditto. Ditto. Same thing. This community.
How many of
Okay.
you have a lot of people outside of our community that are those kind of people?
Define a lot. What does that
Yes,
mean?
define a lot.
More than 3, since it would be you and 3 other people on the call right now.
Okay.
So,
Do our
I mean,
kids count? Because that kind of sways in my.
No.
Okay.
No.
3 people that believe in. Yeah, I have 3.
Okay.
I
Do you
think I would have.
communicate with them enough?
Say that again.
Do you communicate with them enough to feel that support?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Susan?
Yes, I would have 3 also,
Okay.
and I do communicate with them.
Good. What about you, Lisa?
I'm actually going to have to, I don't have 3 other people that I can communicate with the way I communicate with you guys, and who you guys will understand where I'm coming from, what I'm doing. Because I have a couple of supportive people, and then I get that look sometimes like, are you crazy? What are you doing? And there's some things I just don't even tell them because they can't even understand this journey that I'm on, because it's like, yes, supportive, and they have don't of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and they can't fathom that. So I can't say I have 3. I mean, I have 3 people, but not 3 people that are as strong as you guys.
Well, that tells most people don't have what we have here alone in our community.
Right.
Because we need people to understand that we are on a growth journey, and that just because a lot of people in our lives hold us back, most of them, I say most, are from fear.
Yep.
Jonathan and I could list people in our lives
Oh,
that
yeah, absolutely.
are hold back because of their fears. And I am going to be reassuring to a point, and then I have to focus on my goals and be around people who are going to support what I'm doing. Because I have to make my own path. I have to live my own path. I am the one that's on this journey. And yes, I have a wonderful husband and a supportive family and all of those things. But really, the only person who does that path every day is me. And I have my husband who's almost on it 95% of the time with me, because we do a lot together. We both have our own journeys and our own paths, each one of us. And we just need to recognize when it's time to be around the people we need in our community, and when we have to put up some of those walls. It can be difficult. It can be very difficult to put some of those walls up, but there are times it is the healthiest thing. Because what happens is we get people like Lisa we're talking about who support us most of the time, and then they start making those faces. That starts to ignite that inner critic. And you already have to deal with that inner critic enough. You don't need other people's fears igniting your inner critic.
That's right.
So be aware that there are times it's okay to put up walls to protect yourself, because that is what's best for you. one other thing is I want you to think about where you feel safest. And this is a physical safeness and an emotional safeness. Where do you feel the safest?
I don't really have a safe place. Let's go with that.
You don't. Okay. So you don't have a physically safe place or an emotionally safe place.
And I understand. No, I have a physically safe place. My home is my safe place, but there's like, I don't feel like I have like an emotionally safe place where I can just like tell somebody everything, and have that person that really supports me. I don't see that.
Jonathan.
Wait a second. What's all this phone time that we do with each other?
No, no. I said everything, Jonathan. There are things I'm not sharing with you.
And there are probably
As
things
much
I
as
don't.
I love you. Exactly.
Fair enough.
There are things I'm not going to share with you, like about
Fair
my
enough,
friend
fair
Bob.
enough.
Do you have people that you feel you can be emotionally safe with certain things with them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I can probably cross off everything along the list. I don't like. I could find somebody in every different area to cross something off the list and tick every box. I don't feel like I have that one person that will mark all the boxes. Does anybody?
I would say my husband at times would usually, but that is usually a me thing that I have to get over my own barriers emotionally. Because I feel physically safe in my husband's arms. I feel physically safe when I'm with my dad. Those are times where I feel very physically safe. It doesn't have to be a place for me. It's when I have the people around me. I know that about myself. When I feel emotionally supported and that makes me feel physically safe. So that's just, I do feel safe in my home. I feel safe, but truly it's when I am with those people. So, and that is, I know that about myself. And I know there's a lot of people who physically need to be in a place to feel safe. And that has a lot to do with their controlling their environment. I've learned over the years that I don't need for me to feel physically safe. I need to be able to create that for myself wherever I'm at. So learning that has helped me tremendously. Because I've learned that doesn't make me want to escape. It has me face things where I'm at. Instead of feeling I need to escape to feel safe or comfort or anything like that.
So the question on the table is, who do we feel safe around and where do we feel safe, correct?
Well, where do you feel physically and emotionally safe?
Where do I feel physically and emotionally safe? Around you. I feel physically safe in my own home. I feel physically safe most places I go.
I couldn't imagine your size having anything to do with that.
Somebody on Facebook said home. I'm not sure who it is. It's only showing on this end saying Facebook user. But somebody said they feel safe at home. But yeah, I mean, I feel safe most places and emotionally safe. The safest around you, without a doubt. Next. I don't like this awkward silence. Somebody else pick it up.
We're just practicing what you preached to us, Jonathan.
You remembered. Good for you. So you are listening.
I am listening. Yes, sir.
What about you, Susan?
I feel safe at my house. I feel safe with Stuart in Stuart's arms. I feel safe with my dog because I know she'll kick anybody's ass who'll try to get me. I feel
Didn't
safe
you say
with.
it's a Chihuahua?
Do what?
Didn't you say it's a Chihuahua?
No, she's not. Yeah, she's a 70-pound Chihuahua. she's part lab, part pit bull is what we think she is. But we rescued her from a shelter when she was within 24 hours of being euthanized for overcrowding in the shelter. So she knows that I saved her life, and she's a good girl. But I feel safe when I'm with Jonathan too, because of his size too. I know that if I'm with Jonathan, he'll protect me too, even though we're not with each other very often. But if I'm around or around Kate, they'll kick somebody's ass for me if they have to.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times that we forget how important that emotionally and physically safe part of our lives is.
Mm-hmm.
Know where that is, because sometimes simply you need to go there, whether that is a physical or if it is emotional, because a lot for me I don't actually physically have to go somewhere. And knowing that I can get to a safe place emotionally so that I can deal with everything else going on. Because if we don't tackle these things and we don't understand these things about ourselves, growth is hard to do. Growth is hard. Growth is hard anyway. Growth is painful. Those growing pains, Jonathan and I have talked about them a lot. Growing pains hurt and they stretch and they put you in awkward places that you look back and you're like, how in the world did we get through this?
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about when we first started Whataburger. We had no idea. But I kept telling him, we'll figure it out. And guess what? We did. But when we were in it, it was very foggy and it was very painful. And we weren't sure what day-to-day was going to be like. But we got through it and it changed our lives. And we knew at that point, I don't know about him, but I knew at that point, we could do anything. Could do anything. And there's times where we're like, how in the world are we going to get through this? I'm like, we've gotten through it before. We'll get through it again. Because that growth, it happens. And it happens. Everyone's like, well, I'm ready to grow. So let's grow. That's not how it works. It requires us to do work. And, my dad had made the comment the other day to me. He's like, you are certainly not getting paid when you're doing the most work.
That's right.
And I'm like, no, I am not. Because when I was doing all the work to build the Affirmation Avengers, I wasn't making any money from them. I was creating them. But I was working 14 hours a day or more to get them created. And I did that for weeks on end, knowing what my end goal was. But during that growth time, it was painful. And there were times where I'm like, I don't want to look at another one of these products. I just can't.
But you did again what Jonathan said. See, I'm listening, Jonathan. You thought about the end in the beginning.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But during the growth period, it wasn't fun. It wasn't exciting for me because it was exciting because I was creating something, but the true growth in my business wasn't happening at the same time that I was doing all the
Right.
growth within me. And when they're not aligned, it's very difficult to say, why am I in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm growing, but I don't see the growth.
Yep. It's
in-
disheartening.
it is.
Yep.
And so to be able to say, hey, like today at church, I was so excited because the whole thing of my Affirmation Avengers came about. I had done a 5-day challenge and was working on product lines, and it came about. And the real reason I wanted to do my Affirmation Avengers was because I wanted to do an affirmation cards for students, but I wanted it to be more than just passing out affirmation cards. And that was the product. That was the whole goal of it. Now, mind you, I now have 45 products in my product line for Affirmation Avengers. So it was more than that, but that was the product. That was my whole goal with it, was that product specifically. And one sold during church today and one sold this afternoon. And while I don't make a ton of money on a single product like that, however, just to know that it's going to be in 2 more classrooms meant the world to me.
Yep.
That it's here I am, a month later after everything has launched and it's selling, and it's going to end up with teachers and students, and they're going to meet the Avengers and hopefully fall in love with them and use them in their lives. So that is what I wanted to share about that. There was one other thing that I wanted to share, and these are some of my affirmations that I focus on. So, I am valuable and deserve happiness. I trust myself to know what is best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I add value to the world. I release self-criticism and choose to love myself. My strength is greater than my fears. I bring light to those around me. I embrace my insecurities because they are what make me unique. I am full of potential and have so much to offer to the world. I feel confident using my voice and being bold. I discover new levels of inner confidence every day, and I align with my inner self. So I just wanted to share those. I am going to send them out because I know you ladies probably want them.
Yeah.
So I'll say it before Susan asks for me to send them out. So I do want to share those. I don't use them every day, the whole list, but that is my list that I currently have. And I felt like a lot of these tie to a lot of the things that we talked about tonight.
It's powerful. It's a powerful list.
And
How do you use that list? What do you do with it? How does it work?
in the mornings, when I start my day, I pick typically 3 or 4 that I'm feeling I'm drawn to that day that I need the most with.
Okay.
Some days, I'll be honest, I read the whole list. Those are days that I'm struggling and I feel kind of lost in my own world. And usually going through those reminds me of what I'm good and what I need to focus on.
Mm.
They hit the things in my life that, my own self, my insecurities of myself and self-doubt and things like that I struggle with. And so for me, this is my list. I will say that it changes. There's some that I've removed from my list because I'm like, I've nailed that and I want to replace it with something else that's going to help me. When I realize I'm not reading it over and over again, I'm happy to see that it gets moved off my list.
Very cool.
That's part of my morning routine. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Does anybody else have affirmations, daily affirmations that they do? And how do you utilize them? And do you see them effective? Or is it a placebo and it's a waste of time?
You're asking me?
No, I'm asking as a whole.
If affirmations are a waste of time.
No, I don't think affirmations are a waste of time because your brain believes what you tell it. And then you have to be positive and focus on that.
That's right.
Which is why Lisa called out when I called us both a peon, and I really appreciate
Absolutely.
that, Lisa.
Bingo. I was curious to see if that would cycle back around.
It
Absolutely.
did cycle
I
back
had this
around,
conversation with
and I
Nevaeh
didn't
today.
mean it. If she knows I didn't mean it in a bad way, but because I said it, then and what it usually means, she called me out on it. She had every right to, and I appreciate that.
Because see, here's the whole thing. Your subconscious mind does not know right from wrong, left from right. It does not know. It just knows what you tell it. And it never understands the negatives. Hey, Susan, don't think about the color pink.
Don't think about the color pink. Why? Because I have it on my head.
There you go. You're already thinking about it. I said don't. Perfect example. Your mind believes what you tell it to believe. Your mind remembers what you tell it to remember, and it doesn't know the negatives. So there's your little tidbit. If you're really working with somebody and you're really doing some subconscious training, it's okay to say the word don't. Hey, don't do this, Susan, because all that you're hearing is do this. Hey, how many times have you heard somebody say, I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to be like my father. When they get older, who are they? They're an exact
right.
freaking replica.
Yeah, I stopped saying that.
Say it again.
I stopped saying that.
Good for you. Hi, Ricardo Dwayne.
Hey, Ricardo.
Hello.
I love
family.
I love your voice, Ricardo. I just wanted to say that.
Well, I appreciate it because it's the only one I got.
Lisa said differently. That was his exact way of saying, tune in every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to the Hustle Faithfully podcast where you can hear his voice. Also on Thursdays at noontime, each and every week, there is a new episode that drops. You'll hear Dwayne's voice every week.
That nice deep voice, huh? That nice deep alto voice there, Lisa.
Yeah, that's what you meant, right, Ricardo? Just what Jonathan said.
That's exactly what I meant. That's what I meant. So, Jonathan, so what were you asking me?
I don't recall. I thought I just said, hey. I don't know.
Okay. I thought you were asking me a question that I needed to answer.
What did you think I asked you?
I don't know. That's why I was asking. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make sure that if you were, that I was clear on it.
Yeah.
You know, because I've heard a number of different things. You know, from safe places to you know, just the way you word things, how your subconscious mind stores information. I mean, is there a specific thing that you want me to, talk about?
Kate, it's Kate's show tonight, so I don't know.
I'll ask Ricardo, do you use affirmations?
Honestly, not really. And not
It's
because
okay, I'll still like you.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, because my thing is, I don't necessarily use them not because they're bad, but my thing is, I store the things that I believe about myself based on not what I see and what I've heard from other people, but because of my faith, what God has said about me. So I house that in my heart, so that wherever I travel, it creates a safe place for me. You know, like my physical home is a safe place. But at any point in time, I could be anywhere. And because I house what God has said about me that usurps anything that I see that's contrary to that, or anything that I hear that's counter to that, it allows me to instantly, when those things come against me, it's like the word in me that God has said about me and that I've read about me swarms and overcomes the things that's coming against me. So in that moment where I hear something that's counter to what's been said by God, instantly I'm safe because it overcomes that thing that I'm hearing. So that place becomes a safe place for me. You know, so that I walk around like that every day. You know, I have to, because I have to be ready, because I don't know what's coming day to day. I don't know where I'm going to be from moment to moment when I leave the house, who I'm going to see, what I'm going to encounter. So I better have what I need and be equipped for anything that could confront me while I'm out during the day.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we've shared this before, but I think it's the best example of how words matter. When Van, it's been about a year and a half, we had just moved into the house, and Van came into our bedroom and goes, "Do I have to go to church?" And Jonathan rephrased it and said, "You get to go to church." And he ran out of there and went out of our room, was like, "I get to go to church." And it was that mind shift of, you don't have to, you get to. And he was so excited. He came in mopey and he left jumping around, and just remembering that words matter.
Mm-hmm.
And those includes the words you tell yourself. And one of the ways to deal with your inner critic is always to have those affirmations, to stand up to your inner critic. I'm not saying your inner critic is a bad thing, because sometimes we need to have a check on ourselves. Is this a good idea? Have I thought it through? Sometimes we miss a couple steps if we're excited, and we may need to slow down a little, but that doesn't mean you need to stop. And so I just want everyone to make sure that know that they are loved and supported and safe here in our community, and that we are here for each other in whatever ways that you need. I absolutely love all of you, and hope that my message tonight was something that helped you think about understanding yourself and how to tackle this amazing growth that we're all going through. And that you do have support not only in our community, but in yourself too. So,
very good word. Awesome job, Kate. Round of applause. Very good job. Proud of you as always. Y'all make sure to be here Wednesday. Tell every other member of the community, of the group, to come in on Wednesday. Obviously, we bring more on the Wednesday calls, as that is members only, inside and out. We do not live stream it on social media platforms. So we bring the more in-depth information on Wednesday nights. Sunday nights, you get amazing words like you did tonight in understanding yourself, and from the amazing, wonderfully beautiful, talented Kate. And thank you so much for the night. This Wednesday, we are going to have a special speaker with us on. Somebody who has done very well in things that they have done in life. Somebody that is a full wealth of knowledge. And I'll tell you, if you were to pay for one-on-one time with him, which he doesn't even sell one-on-one time, but if you were, you would be dropping 5 figures per hour. He will be here with us Wednesday night. Who is it? Well, for the members, be here Wednesday. You'll see. For those of you that are not members yet that are watching on the live stream platforms, go to www.thoughtprovokingchange.com/opportunity. Join the community today. Then you'll have access to the Wednesday calls and the Saturday calls. You'll be the first to know about the upcoming events. You'll be the first in line for everything else that we offer within the community. So go over there, get your membership today, get involved, become family with us. You saw tonight how much we truly support each other. You saw tonight that this is a family. You know, we might not be blood, we might not be kin, but this is a family of choice. We all get to choose who's in our family of choice. And if you're looking for a group that's going to tell you that, you know, it's pixie dust and unicorns all the time, this isn't it. Especially if you're talking to me, because I'll be a little bit raw with you, and I'll call you, and I want you to call me whenever I need to be called out. Yet you get that type of love, you get that type of affection, you get that type of attention by being a member in the group. So again, all of you, join us Wednesday to make the special speaker feel welcome, to hear his word. It will be amazing. I will promise you that. And for everybody else that's watching the live stream across our social media platforms, and those of you that are here, and the ones that are going to be catching the replay, leave some comments in the comment sections so we can come back and learn more about you if you're not yet involved with us. Also, you heard us mention it earlier. Tuesday morning, we have, who do we have on this upcoming Tuesday, Ricardo?
Didn't you say Jim Britt?
Bingo. You're paying attention. Very good, Susan. You're definitely getting a cookie after the show today. Yes. Jim Britt, for those of you that may not recognize the name, that's okay. Jim Britt has worked with people in the past. He used to be partners with Jim Rohn. He has been a personal mentor to Tony Robbins. In fact, Tony Robbins endorses every one of his books called Cracking the Rich Code. I'll tell you, this man has some incredible and amazing stories. Some of those stories are going to be shared with you Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be broadcast on all the social media platforms as well as the YouTube channel live. It will also be on the Linktree, where the list of all of the platforms, whoever is listening to the show on the back end, please mute yourself because I can hear it. It's ringing through. It will be replayed. However, get there live with us. Leave your comments. Maybe, just maybe what you say will be responded to on the air live in discussion. So make sure that you're there to listen to it live. Other than that, we'll see all of you guys again first Tuesday morning at 7, next Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. for Wisdom Wednesday with our special guest speaker. Make sure to get your membership if you don't have it already. Everybody, remain blessed and unstoppable. And this is the lead up to Kate and Mai's 4th wedding anniversary, which takes place Friday. So all gifts, all gift cards and everything can be sent directly to it. No, I'm just playing with you. Anyway, everybody have a great week. We'll see you again Wednesday.